Frank Raymond Ferney, aviation metalsmith chief. What happened was my time was coming up. My 4 years was coming up in '72. So I had a choice to make. So I called my brother back in Pittsburgh and said, we were glass cutters back then. I graduated from high school and we cut glass, you know, but the glass cutters were being taken over by the machines. He said, don't come home. Whatever you do, their machines are taking over, the unions are all in a squabble, there's no work, don't come home. I went, okay. So I went over, raised my hand, shipped over, and they gave me a $5,000 bonus, which bought our first home, which we bought a mobile home out here in Pax River, and brand new, unbelievable. We own, and I financed like $1,000. Our payments were $42 a month or something, but it was great. While I was there, we shipped over. I stayed there till 1975. So that was another 72, 73, 75. I got orders to, well, I put in for orders. I said, listen, I want to be a flight engineer. So I went over and put all the paperwork in. I didn't want to be a metalsmith anymore. I wanted to fly. So I put the paperwork in, and I got approved, and I went to VP. They shipped me down to Jacksonville, Florida, loaded us up, and off we went again to Jacksonville, Florida. I showed up at the P3 Flight Engineer School, went to engineer school there, graduated there, and my first duty station from there was VP 10 up in Brunswick, Maine. So here we go. We're down in Jacksonville. We got to go all the way up to the north, you know, part of the United States on the East Coast, and we showed up there for VP 10. So on that, I got up there, and I think we got base housing. You were there for a while, and I got my deployment schedule. I'm going to Rota, Spain. So off I went to Rota, Spain for, what was it, 4 to 6 months? 6 months over in Rota. We flew all the submarine, anti-submarine missions, chasing subs with the P3s, which is what a P3 does. P3 has sonobuoys on it that we drop in the ocean, and once we find a Russian sub, we can track it, and normally it runs from right out of Russia is where we pick it up, because we come out of Spain, we go up towards Russia. We pick that sub coming out of there, and we follow it all. We don't. We have crew members. We leave after 12 hours, and another P3 shows up to relieve us. This goes on until we follow that sub clean to Cuba. That's usually where they go, or they'll come down and hang a left and go into the med underwater, and we trail them. But we have to know where they're at all the times. All that information is relayed back to the United States, to the CNOs and everybody. They have that. You see it in a lot of TV programs, the big board with all the ships on it. There's a sub, and they move it with a little mark. That's what we did. We transmitted all that back to them. While I was over there for that 6 months, I came back.